All right, hello and welcome everyone. I'm your host Stefan Burns, and we have a lot to talk about today because there's not just one thing happening, there's not just two things happening, there are a dozen plus things happening. And while I'm not the end-all be-all resource, I do have a pretty good effectively survey of the global landscape. So it may not be an absolute expert on any one thing, but you will get all the info as to what is happening to a pretty good degree here. So we have global conflict erupting right now. As many of you know, new strikes on Iran by Israel and the United States, perfectly resonating with astrological alignments that are active right now, planetary alignments. We'll talk about that. It's really one of the best predictive tools you can use if you learn it with a scientific mindset. We also have Pakistan and Afghanistan in what's known as, like, they're calling it an open war now. So, hey, I'm not big on the war stuff, but we had a pretty good sense that these sort of events were going to unfold this spring because of the planetary alignments and the energies there. So a clock isn't determining like what time it is, it's telling you what the time is. So this is effectively what this tool is for, is when it's 7 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock is a different character than midnight. So we have a lot happening this spring. We're not even there yet, right? It hasn't even been the equinox yet. We have a blood moon coming up on the 3rd. That will be a pretty big energetic event. It's ready. We're ready in eclipse season. We have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. That was exactly on the 20th of February. We also had the near conjunction last year, back in July, middle of July 2025. This Iran-Israel conflict is resonating with that, and also some Mars cycles. If we kind of expand our domain out beyond just those two to other events that maybe you haven't heard of, we have a new earthquake swarm occurring in Japan. This is the Ryukyu Islands near Taiwan. And that is looking quite significant. That is, how many magnitude 5s? 5 magnitude 5 earthquakes and 8 magnitude 4+ earthquakes in the past 48 hours. We also have a very interesting energy burst that's occurring right now near Vanuatu in the South Pacific. We had a magnitude 6.4 earthquake there on the 14th of February. Then just about a week later, actually I think this started even right around that earthquake, but it really got active a week later on the 21st of February. We had a volcano wake up in a very significant way in Vanuatu at Ambae Island. This is specifically Manaro Vori volcano, and that was really active from the 21st of February to the 24th of February, and then 2 days later on the 26th, a tropical storm developed right near Vanuatu. That's now a Category 2 cyclone. That is Cyclone Ermil. So we have this interesting energy progression there. Typically, if you're getting spotless days, no sunspots on Earth facing, you're getting close to the descending phase solar maximum. That's not a characteristic of solar maximum. Or if it is, it's very rare and only happens during weak solar maximum. Solar cycle 25 has not been a weak solar maximum. All that energy has come in and loaded up the planet, and this influences the geology, right? This influences us societally. We see more wars and conflict during solar maximums, and we see more civil unrest, and we see more revolutions during solar maximum. So we're in that right now. Literally, the Earth energy system, like the Schumann resonances, which overlap with our brainwaves in frequency and in power, allowing for energy and information exchange. It could be a base layer of consciousness for the collective consciousness and for the Earth as a whole, the super consciousness, that changes in frequency based off of solar activity and solar maximum. It's slightly higher frequency now than normal. It's about 8 hertz. Normally it's about 7.8. So we have a lot of changes that we have been in that are progressing forward. We have this March and April going all the way into May, a lot of planetary energy in the fiery sign of Aries. If we use Western Tropical, a local reference frame based off the equinoxes and solstices, they're basically all at that equinox axis, which is effectively, you know, when things are initiating, when they're getting started. So we're seeing all this erupt at the beginning of that. You know, because of the new activity between US, Israel, and Iran, get your gas now. Take this from a trucker of 18 years. It gets expensive really fast. If you have any extra gas cans, pick them up, buy food now, supplies while the prices are low. You know, probably not bad advice. I wouldn't say fill up an open container in your car and drive off. That could be dangerous, but definitely worth having some extra supplies on hand. So thanks for that advice. We can see that these planets are all grouped together very, very strongly. You know, they're very close together. Venus is moving ahead. She's going to pass by Saturn and Neptune eventually. Mercury is actually now retrograde. So Mercury is going to start moving back. The sun just set, so the sun's effectively here. Mars is on the other side. So you actually have a whole progression of energy over the next 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks, of Mercury moving back, catching up to Mars, and then they're all still moving forward, okay? But Venus will move ahead. It'll take some time. Eventually, she'll get here and do a conjunction with Uranus. That will be around April 20th or so. But this is the planetary alignment we have coming up. This tonight at sunset is the time to go out and see this. If the sun is already set where I am in Europe, but if you are in the United States, South America, there's still time. You want to be there right at sunset as it's going down. So very powerful energies as a result of this. So we have this Western Tropical Astrology chart set for today. This gives us our local reference frame. 0 degrees of Aries is the spring equinox point. That's March 21st, typically March 20th, March 21st. And then, for example, here, the end of Gemini, that is the summer solstice. And then we have, for example, the September equinox. And then we have down here, the December solstice. Okay, so we're really tracking the local reference frame of the solar system based off of the sun. If we use constellations, the sky position is always changing. So it's super useful. If you want to track cosmic stuff and comets and things of this nature, that's really the reference frame to use. But the tropical reference frame based off of the equinoxes and solstices is super, super important. I'm actually in Malta right now, and I've been going to the ancient archaeological sites here that go back at a minimum 6,000 years. And actually, I think they're much older just based off of my analysis and looking at them. They're very similar to Göbekli Tepe. This is like Gigantica and various other Neolithic, megalithic sites. They have them all lined to the equinoxes, the solstices. So those are very important markers, energy markers to be aware of that go back, our understanding of that and recognition that goes back thousands of years. Now here's some interesting stuff. This is just one video of many. We can see that we've seen some attacks. We've had, a lot of strikes in Iran, Tehran. We've also had strikes all across the Middle East, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE. Here's one. I think this is what they said. Bahrain. One of the subscribers has sent me a video because she lives in Bahrain of some of these missiles coming in. Very, very unfortunate. We have this happening right now. And we were able to basically forecast this. Big shout out to Dan Waits at World Astrology Report. He's been talking about this. Here we have Israel's birth chart, all right? And we see Mars there at 28 degrees of Leo. Now Mars was there at 28 degrees of Leo last June, specifically June 14th of 2025. And let me type that in specifically. I'll just show you really quick using our chart that we just had up. So you can, if you want to believe me, well, the evidence will be here. So here we have that. We have, Where's Mars? There's Mars. This is again Western tropical frame, 28 degrees of Leo. Okay, so that is what was happening June 14th, 2025. Now the reason why a tropical reference frame is useful is because this again is fixed to certain degree points in the solar system. It helps us basically understand the quality of time in any specific moment. Using the constellation reference frame is useful, but there is precession, the equinoxes. So you're not tracking equinox energies accurately using constellations. It's a different tool for different occasions. Here we see Mars at 20 degrees of Leo for the birth chart of modern day Israel. That is conjunct Regulus at 29 degrees. You know, the bright star of royalty in the constellation of the Lion. Okay, and well, that was back June 14th. We had Mars there June 14th of 2025. From the 13th to the 22nd of June, you'll remember that we conducted, well, not we, Israel and the United States conducted airstrikes against Iran, that bunker buster and all that nonsense. That happened from the 13th to the 22nd of June. You will also notice with our chart right here, so that was conjunct, okay? So at that time, Mars was conjunct the natal Mars for Israel. And that is basically signaling a new start of martial energy, a new martial cycle of war for Israel, okay? Well, that's the beginning point of that. You'll see here Neptune, Saturn at the early degrees of Aries conjunct, just as they are now, within 1 degree right there, okay? Now let's go forward to today. Check this out. Here we have Mars at 28 degrees of Aquarius, exactly opposite the natal placement for Israel at 28 degrees of Leo. This is the opposition in that martial cycle. No surprise that we had huge events occur today and likely going to continue forward, especially when you take into account that we have this blood moon coming up on the 3rd of March, which is the same day as the holiday, the holy holiday in Israel, Purim, which is celebrating like the victory of Israel over whatever. They're super tied into all this stuff. So that is showing, Dan Waits at World Astrology Report, my buddy, he was talking about this in his March forecast. He dropped that video a few days ago. Boom, it happened. So exactly at that opposition point, we had this happen, and also with this Saturn-Neptune conjunction active. So that is another very important component, all of this.